Okay, number 33 here says, an integer lies between 16 and 108. Determine the likelihood that it is divisible by 8 or 12. Okay, so the first thing is probability or likelihood is it's divided by the total number and the number you wish to have. Okay, so we want to know the likelihood that a random number coming from this list is divisible by 8 or 12. So the first thing is to find out what the total is. Okay, and we've discussed that the way we find the total numbers in the list is we subtract the difference between them and then add 1. Now the first thing is to be careful of is this is between, so we're not including 16 and we're not including 108. We're talking about 17 through 107. So that's the first thing here, is to just realize that between does not include the endpoints. So the total is found by going 107 minus 17 and then add 1. Okay? So what does that give us? That gives us 91. Okay, 107 minus 17 is 90 plus 1. So that's our total. That's going to go down on the bottom. Now we have to figure out how many numbers are divisible by 8 or 12. So divisible by 8. Okay, well, let's start with the first one. 17, the first number divisible by 8 is 24. And we can just add 8 every time. 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80, 88, 96, 104, and that's it. If I go one more, I get to 112, and that's beyond my list. So this is the list of things that are divisible by 8. Divisible by 12, well, the first number I start with is also 24. Then keep adding 12. 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, and 108. But 108 is not part of our list, so we will not include 108. Okay, now we have some numbers that appear twice. We don't want to count numbers twice because that'll give us a false answer. But I do want to count everything at least once, so don't cross them off both lists. 24 is in common, okay, and then 48 is in common. Only cross it off one list. Okay, then 72 they have in common, and 96 they have in common. So now if I add all the numbers up, I see, let's count all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I have 12, 13, 14. So the probability that I'm looking for is 14 over 91. Okay, that does reduce, by the way, to 2 over 13. If you like to write it that way. All right, let's look at number 39 and 40. It says, first of all, we have 30 students total. Some of them study business. Some of them study economics. 16 study business, 18 study economics. 5 study neither. The place where we put the 5 that study neither is out here. Okay, now we have 30 total. We've already accounted for 5. So that must mean that there are 25 that need to be in here. But we have 16 business and 18 economics. So if we add these two together, we get 34. So 34 there's 30 total. We've already accounted for 5, so there's 25 left. So 34 minus 25 is 9. So that must mean that there are 9 that are counted twice here. So we put that 9 in the center, because that's the ones that study both business and econ. Okay? So now, let's look at business. 16 of the students study business, but I've already accounted for 9 of them. So that must mean that there's 7 that only study business. And you see how 9 plus 7 equals 16. I've accounted for the 16 business students. 18 study economics, but I've already counted for 9. So that must mean there are 9 that only study economics. There's 9 that study both. Now if you add that up, that should add up to 30. You should be able to add up all those numbers. Before you start the problem, make sure you add all these up and make sure they add up to 30. Okay? 7 plus 9 is 16. 16 plus 9 is 25, plus 5 is 30. So we've got all the numbers matching up. Now we can answer the probability questions. Find the probability that a random student selected studies only economics. So this represents here the students that study only economics. That's 9 out of the total. Remember, probability is the number you wish to have divided by the total number. The total number of students is 30. So that's the answer to number 39. 9 out of 30. Okay, number 40. Number 40 says, given that the student studies business, find the probability that he or she also studies economics. So the way you read this is, given that they study business, that means we have to be in this circle. They study business. So the total here is 16. There are 16 students that study business. So we're only picking a random student from the business people. And then it asks, what is the probability that they also study economics? Well, there's 9 of these students that also, so the probability would be 9 out of 16. And that's the answer to number 40.